Well, hello there. This is the second part of my video of What if Germany won World War One. I forgot to say in the last video that Germany is gonna lose the colony of Tanzania and give it to Britain. And also the colony of Namibia to Britain. Anyways, we're gonna talk about more important matters, like the Indian Independence War, which I did not have enough time in the original video to talk about. Now, anyways, let's get going and start talking about how the western side of India managed to get its independence. The Indian Revolt began during the British campaign in Egypt, mainly because they had to use some Indian units to defend the Suez Canal. The Indian Revolt is gonna begin right next to Nepal. It's the poorest area in India, but it contains the most people in all of India. The Indian Revolt is gonna try to centralize, and after centralizing, they're gonna go to the province of Sikkim and convince its monarch to go in their side. But his country, Sikkim, is gonna stay a monarchy, and he's gonna be its ruler. The Indian resistance is gonna see clearly that Sikkim is surrounded everywhere from the colony of Britain. So we're gonna do their first offensive in the colony of Sikkim to make sure that it's well defended and it cannot be surrendered. The resistance is gonna go to the south, right towards the ocean, specifically to make sure that they have naval access and access to the beaches. Burma, seeing the success of the Indian resistance movement and independence movement, is gonna grow further like them. The two resistance movements are gonna try to get connected to each other so they can fight the British collectively. We're gonna eventually negotiate which territory is controlled by who, so basically we don't have any conflicts in the future about their borders. Eventually, Indian troops are gonna start entering Burma and we're gonna give it to the Burmese resistance, the land they captured. With all that pressure against British Burma, the Brits are gonna be forced to evacuate the region due to the fact that they cannot defend it. After that major victory, the Indian resistance are gonna move their troops towards the west because they wanna capture back Indian territory. They stopped wanting to have Burma out. All those major victories are also gonna lead to Indian provinces revolting against Britain. Britain is gonna negotiate a peace deal with the Indian resistance and the Burma one, and Pakistan and the Sikhs to get their independence, but they cannot support the other resistance movements that Britain did not accept a peace treaty with. If you wonder why does Britain do that crazy ass decision, the reason is because they're still fighting in World War One, and they don't wanna lose their Indian colonies, the other ones, and they wanna win. After Britain creates all the peace deals, we're gonna crush the other resistance movements inside their colony. When Pakistan gets its independence, it's gonna take with it Gujarat. But Gujarat is not gonna be for long a part of Pakistan due to the fact that the population of Gujarat and its leadership thinks that Pakistan treats it like a colony or does not take care of it, meaning that it's gonna get its independence in the future. But the British struggle with other colonies is not gonna end, because Ireland is gonna want its independence, like in real life. But unlike in real life, the British are gonna have new problems, like the loss of their colonies, and they have debt that they cannot pay, because in real life they used Germany to pay their debt. And all those aspects are gonna mean that Britain is gonna lose the Irish War of Independence. It's not gonna happen instantly, it's gonna take a few years, but eventually the British army is gonna get tired of urban combat, and the citizens don't want their tax money to go towards the Irish War. Another problem that appeared during World War I and was solved after was the Arab War of Independence in the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire is gonna use a media campaign to say that the Arabs are supporting by the British, who are actively colonizing Arab countries. And the Ottomans are gonna pull away troops from Palestine and Iraq to destroy the Arab resistance. All that means that the Arab resistance are gonna collapse, but they're still gonna exist in the empire due to its failure in modernizing and becoming a proper industrial country. And also the resistance is gonna keep continuing to exist due to the ideological differences between the Arabs and the Turks, who rule the government, who are specifically Turkish nationalists, and are not very religious. Now finally, there is one final conflict that we get to talk about in this video. This conflict will be named the Russian-Ottoman War. The reason why this war happens is because Tsar Nicholas is quite unpopular with everyone pretty much in the Russian Empire. The military wants to replace him with a dictator, with a specifically military one. Petrograd in Moscow wants to replace him with communist, and the other intellectuals in the government want to replace him with a democracy pretty much. No one likes the monarchy. His goal in this conflict is to conquer Constantinople and to prove to every other group that the Russian Empire is indeed still worthy of the title of empire, and it still can spread its tentacles even more. The Russian Empire is gonna begin negotiating with Bulgaria, specifically to allow their troops to move into it, so they can invade properly Constantinople. The Russian Empire is gonna give Bulgaria some land after the war. The Russian war plans are pretty simple. They're gonna make an evil invasion so they can conquer Ankara, and they're gonna invade the Ottoman Empire from Armenia, and they're gonna invade from Bulgaria, like I said. In the first 2 days of the conflict, the Russian Empire is gonna succeed at surrounding Constantinople from the land. And after 12 days, indeed, they will be capable of conquering Constantinople. The German Empire is gonna be angry at the Russian Empire because the Ottomans were allies of the German Empire. And very unfortunately for the Russians, the Germans are gonna pull out their investments from the Russian Empire. That is very unfortunate for the Russian Empire because 80% of their factories are owned by people outside of their country. And most likely in this scenario, the biggest investor in Russia is gonna be Germans. That is gonna hurt the Russian Empire's economy in the long term. But on the short term, those factories still exist in the Russian Empire, and you cannot delete them. Britain seeing the opportunity, they're gonna steal northern Palestine from the Ottoman Empire. And continuing the Ottoman spiral, Kurdistan is gonna revert from it because they don't wanna be a part of the Russian Empire, so they're gonna quickly secede. That's pretty much gonna lead to other groups in the empire revolting, like the Syrians and other Arab groups. Not a lot of time is gonna pass before the Ottoman Empire is forced to surrender to the Russian Empire and to other groups like the Arabs and Kurdish people. Thankfully, due to the support of its allies, the Ottoman Empire is gonna still exist after the peace treaty, but it's gonna be a rum state, surrounded by the Turkish puppet regime controlled by the Russian Empire. And other groups in the empire are gonna secede, pretty much. And the Russians are gonna control Constantinople. The Russian invasion of the Ottoman Empire is gonna still have consequences to Russia. Like, now Germany hates Russia. Now, all European countries have free choices, either France and Britain, or the German Empire, or the Russian Empire, to be their allies. But here's the interesting question. Which alliance would countries choose? Like, for an example, Hungary. I think that Hungary is gonna choose Germany because most of their banks used to be in Austria before World War I, when the Austrian-Hungarian Empire still exists, meaning that they're gonna still depend on the German economy to still exist. Well, this is the end of the video. If you dislike it, press the dislike button. If you like it, like it. If you wanna leave a comment, please do. And this is an English translation of an Arab video I created of the second part of What If Germany Won World War One. Bye bye.